Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. I feel like I say this every week, but I am excited about my guests. Like, I'm excited about all my guests because they're all friends of mine. This week is Jerry Ferrara. I wanted to keep the theme going because last week I had Joseph Sikora, aka Tommy from Power, and then this week, what a lot of people don't know is this was supposed to be my first week in studio. I got a studio in LA. They built it out. It's going to be really dope. I can't wait to get in there. But there's a couple people that popped positive with the coronavirus that work in the studio. So by CDC guidelines and everything else, we can't be in there for another week or two. So I'm on remote again. I'm still at the house, and I gotta say, Jerry Ferrara came through in the clutch for me this week because I had my plane ticket. I'm ready to fly into LA. I'm ready to get this going in studio, and I got the phone call from the engineers and the powers that be, and they said, "Yo, you can't come in studio. They gotta shut down. They gotta clean. They gotta quarantine just to be safe." And now I'm scrambling. I'm like, "Oh, well, who can I get that's not in LA that I can get on at the last second?" And I texted Jerry, and God bless Jerry. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to do it." Here's the thing about me and Jerry. We're both such huge sports fans. I'm diehard Cincinnati, everything Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, Xavier, if there's a boxer. And Jerry is the exact same way when it comes to the New York teams. He is Giants, he's Knicks, he's all that. So I'm excited. Now, last week, I was supposed to be in Phoenix, Arizona. At the last second, that got canceled because there was a huge spike in the coronavirus. And for me, as a comedian, I'm at this weird crossroads because every now and then I hear about a comedian catching it, and then I don't want to bring it home to my family. Now I got kids that are teenagers, wife's healthy, I'm pretty healthy. I'm doing everything I can to stay healthy, taking vitamin D and electrolytes in my water, and just anybody that I know that's healthier than me, I call, like, how can I just keep my immune system up? And when I fly, I'm being careful. I got masks, gloves. It's just, I'm doing what I can, but it's just weird battle within myself because I'm like, on one hand, I want to be on the road telling jokes, but I want to be safe. And I just know that I love being a stand-up. And I've been to West Palm Beach, and I've been to Jackson, Mississippi over the last month. So I've left home twice, and it's like I just get a new energy about myself, and it's almost like I'm getting a taste of back to normal. So as of now, I'm going to Arlington, Texas, and I hear people talking, there's a spike there, there's a spike. And I go, I'm not in the streets when I go to these cities. I'm literally from the airplane to my hotel, to the comedy club. And nobody comes in the green room when I'm there. It's just me and my opener, and that's it. I tell the staff, I'll eat before I get there. You can have everything I have in my rider in the green room. I just get on stage and tell my jokes, and then I go back to the green room. So I'm as safe as I can be. And there's the thing about stand-ups, if you really think about it. I'm okay with all the bars and nightclubs staying closed for selfish reasons because people want to go out, and if all the bars and nightclubs are closed, but the comedy clubs are open, that's all they got to do. So I'm kind of selfish when it comes to that. I'm like, yeah, keep them closed. Then come see me. So as of now, I'm in Arlington, Texas this weekend at the Improv. I'm hoping it stays open because I am excited. Dallas is a great city with great food. I got to get to go if I go there this week. So I'm excited. Hopefully it stays open. And then last week we had Joseph Sikora on, aka Time from Power. And man, what a good interview that was. And then afterwards, I posted this picture of me and him, and it was like a fake poster. It said twins. And then I had Gary Owen, Joseph Sikora, and I had Joseph standing like a classic Tommy pose, and I had this crazy pose. 50 Cent saw it and then reposted it. And then he said, "Joseph, I got this movie idea and I got the funding." And I was like, wait a minute, is this serious? And then Joe says, I'm in, let me know when to start. And then I'm chiming in. They've been waiting for us to be on screen together. So I don't know if 50 was just BSing or he was serious, but I tagged Will Packer, I tagged Deion Taylor, I tagged every behind the scenes guy I know. It was like, yo, maybe we should do it. I know, I'm trying to speak it into existence. I remember on the BET Awards a few years ago, they had Martin was Shanae and Jamie Foxx was Wanda. And then there was like this buzz that they was gonna try to work together and do a movie as Shanae and Wanda. And it didn't happen, but I do know that Martin and Jamie were down for it. So, I don't know. Stranger things have happened in this entertainment business. I hope everybody had a good July 4th. July 4th was weird this year. There was backlash for it. I didn't know the full history of July 4th and what it meant. You know what? I don't even know how I start talking about that because I don't know enough about it. It's like me and politics. I don't know enough about politics to talk politics, and that's why my podcast, we rarely talk about politics because I'm not that bright. Same with July 4th. I'm just going off social media and the posts and what July 4th means to some people. I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a dark history behind it. I don't think this country's ever gone through such a shift in my life as far as like how we're gonna celebrate holidays, I think we're definitely gonna have some new holidays come out of this. And I think some of the old holidays are gonna have different meanings when this is all over. And I don't just mean July 4th, I mean a lot. We'll see what's gonna happen. I'm just glad I got this podcast because I can talk to my friends. And here's the thing, when I do my podcast, it's almost therapeutic for me because I get to talk to my friends in the entertainment business and sporting world that are going through it. It's just comforting to know that other people are also like out of whack a little bit with everything that's going on and nobody has the answer. And everybody's getting through it in their own way. It's almost like when I was in boot camp. I remember my first day in boot camp, I was just like, oh shit, when is this gonna end? I'm in this thing for the next 8 weeks. And I just remember my first night, I'm just sitting there like kind of in a daze, like, oh, I don't know if I can get through this. And then I remember I was getting ready for bed the first night and one guy comes up to me and just goes, there's some crazy shit, isn't it? And that's all I needed to hear. And I was like, yeah, man, it is. And then we talked for a split second. And just the fact that this one kid came up to me and was like, there's some crazy shit, isn't it? And looked at me like, and I go, oh my God, I'm not the only one feeling this way. It just, the rest of boot camp was a breeze because that one kid made a comment to me on the first night. I'm 17, he was probably 18. And it was just like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking, oh, I don't know if I can get through this. So that's why I'm so glad we got the podcast. I'm glad people are listening. And hopefully it's an escape from all the chaos. Because I tell you what I love about having a podcast. I love it when I hear truckers sending me DMs and Facebook messages just saying they listen to it while they're on the road. Because truckers always say this, man, I wish it was longer. I had like an 18-hour drive. And you took an hour and a half off. And he forgot about how long the drive was. I love hearing stories like that with the podcast. And I love the fact that, you might get a movie out of it with 50 Cent. I'm crossing my fingers. So with that, in honor of having Jerry Ferrara on the podcast this week and Joseph last week, AKA two major players in the TV show Power, I always got my one verse rap. I always talk about my daughter, how I'm trying to connect with her. So this week, I'm gonna take it back a little bit and I'm gonna do a 50 Cent rap lyric breakdown. Now this is from my day. So this is The Candy Shop by 50 Cent. I'm gonna break down these lyrics. First, I'm just gonna read them. How brilliant was this? Got the magic stick. I'm the love doctor. Have your friends teasing you about how sprung I got you. When you show me you could work it, baby, no problem. Get on top, then get the bounce around like a low rider. I'm a seasoned vet when it come to this shit. After you work up a sweat, you could play with the stick. I'm trying to explain, baby, the best way I can. I melt in your mouth, girl, not in your hand. Ha ha. I'll take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Whoa. I just want to go hop on my wife right now after hearing that. So this is what I'm talking about. The new lyrics, I'm breaking them down, and half the time I didn't know what a mop was. I didn't know what some of this stuff was. I didn't know what a mump in your pocket was. Look how simple this is. I got the magic stick. I'm the love doctor. That means, yeah, my penis is good. Yeah, and people have told me they feel better when I'm having sex with them, love doctor. Have your friends teasing you about how sprung I got you. That means after we had sex, you went and told your friends, and now they're laughing because like, girl, you sprung. You like him. When you show me you could work it, baby, no problem. Get on top, then get to bounce around like a low rider. That means she's on top and she's riding. I shouldn't have did that. I'm sorry. I'm a seasoned vet when it comes to this shit, which means I've had a lot of sex with a lot of girls. After you work up a sweat, you can play with the stick. That means it's hot and heavy and we're going at it. And I don't even know I did that with my hand. I gotta stop being so animated when I discuss these rap lyrics. I melt in your mouth, girl, not in your hand. That means when I finish, I almost put my finger in my mouth. I'd rather do it in your mouth than the hand. I'll take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop. That means, girls, if you lick a lollipop, you probably like licking a penis. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit the spot. Don't stop till I finish, basically. And then he's gonna take it to candy and eat. I love how 50 ends it with a whoa. That's his way of climaxing. It was so easy. Anybody can figure those lyrics out. They were so easy. Shouts out to 50 Cent with the easy to read lyrics. This is way easier than NBA Youngboy. I'll tell you that. God, 50, that's why 50 is so good. Made it real easy to read. Yeah, that was Candy Shop by 50 Cent. Easy read lyrics in honor of Joseph Sikora and Jerry Ferrara, a.k.a. Power. Before Jerry comes on, I think I only got one guy left from Think Like a Man, is Romani. So I've had Kevin Hart, I've had Terrence J, I had Michael Ealy, obviously myself. Now I got Jerry and I got Romani. And Romani's confirmed in a couple weeks. I don't want you to think I'm Romani's last. We had the discussion. I wanted to have Ron. He's got a great movie coming out called Tijuana Jackson. I think it drops July 31st. And I told Romani I didn't want to come on till the week before the movie because I want to be able to promote his movie and discuss it and also talk about everything else. So Ron would be the last one, but Jerry's second to last. So I just want to say this. There was in no particular order I chose the cast of Think Like a Man to come on the podcast. But I did know when I found out I'm coming back and I'm on remote, I wanted to grab all those guys within the first couple months, just because, I don't know, they're my friends and everybody's killing it in their careers. So I'm about to bring up Jerry on the Get Some podcast. Hey, what's up, everybody? My guest this week. Now, we met 9 years ago on the set of Think Like a Man. I think most people know my guest as Turtle from Entourage, the TV show / movie. More recently, he was killed by my guest last week, Joseph Sikora, in the show Power. My guest this week is Jerry Ferrara. What's up, Jerry?
Man, Gary, I can't believe I gotta follow Joe now. His character killed me, and now I gotta follow him on your podcast. This is not cool. You could have let me go first, Gary.
Hey, that's how we do it around here. Hey, before we get into that, let me ask you, do you feel any guilt? And I feel like Ronda Rousey was never the same after she fought you. Like,
You're saying that no, first of all, I feel no guilt whatsoever because when she put me in that armbar, even as a fake fight scene, and I asked her, I'm like, I just want to feel like a tiny bit of it. Even just in the resting position with no pressure, the armbar is an awful feeling. So I'm just happy that was all fake life because my elbow's still like, every time I see an armbar, my elbow still like shakes a little bit.
You getting in the ring with Ronda Rousey. I think when people are like watching sports, whether it be boxing or UFC, to watch it on TV, you're like, oh, that guy sucks. Or, God, that guy's weak. Until you get in the octagon of the ring and you realize all that goes into that, it hits you like a ton of bricks.
So, quick story on that. When we were rehearsing, in that scene, she also like flips me over her shoulder, and I'm like, I want to do all my stunts, which is the dumbest thing ever in the world. So we're rehearsing it, and she's like lightly throwing me over, but she's like, on the day, so just so you know, I've broken guys' ribs before when I've done this. Like, guys a lot bigger than you, which is not saying a whole lot because I'm not very big. But I just remember even doing it in rehearsal, and I'm like, you know what? This is why stunt doubles get paid well and like do their job. Like, I don't know how to take this fall. I don't want broken ribs. I've broken ribs before. So I kindly said, you know what, Mr. Stunt Double, could you please take this bump for me? Because I am not trying to break ribs. And then I watched from afar, and I'm like, yeah, that would have been terrible if I had to do that all day.
Yeah, I think the older we get in this business, I think everyone wants to be an action star. That's a guy thing, an ego thing. But then once you hit like late 30s, early 40s, then you're starting to be like, nah, I'm good. I just want to act.
Give me a nice scene, Gary, where me and you are just like talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's a nice like 4-page, lot of jokes, me and you just walking and talking. Like, I can handle that.
I don't want you to feel any kind of way, because here's the thing. You came through in the clutch for me this week because it's supposed to be my first week in studio. And somebody within the studio came down with the coronavirus, so they shut the studio down. The powers that be like, we got to find a guest on like short notice. And I said, I'll call Jerry. And it's so funny how it came about, because I had Tommy on last week, Joseph from Power, and the week before I had Terrence J. And it's like full circle, like, I'll get Jerry. I don't want you to think anything, because I haven't had Romani on yet either. From the cast.
Listen, can I zoom in for that one just to listen live? Because, couple things to unpack. First and foremost, I already hear people saying now I saved your show because I came through in the clutch. I already see the comments. Jerry Ferrara saved Gary Owen show. I already see that. But Romani, who is a dear friend of ours from the Think Like a Man family, I would listen to Romani just read the phone book. So I would like to plug in live for the Romani episode, because that's my guy right there, Romani Malco. I just worked with him on his show, A Million Things, up in Canada, and he was just in rare Romani fashion.
I tell everybody, if they redo the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world, if they turn that guy black, it's got to be Romani.
For sure. I mean, when we were shooting Think Like a Man 2, that's where it really came out, because we were in all the casinos in Vegas, and like just be random people coming up to Romani, and Romani would like know them. And I'm like, oh, you know that guy? He's like, oh yeah, we were in the military. I'm like, you were in the military? I didn't know that. And then there's like another, like, yeah, we were like diving off the coast of whatever. I'm like, oh, you were a diver? Like, he's just done it. He's just lived such a fulfilled life. That's one guy, like, if I had a big decision to make and I needed to get some real advice from someone outside of my family, I think Romani would be one of those calls I would make.
Listen, I called Romani as soon as we went on lockdown with this coronavirus, and I called him. I said, what should I be eating? What should I be taking? Jerry, I'm not lying. He goes, give me an hour, I'll call you back.
and I'm sure he gave you a whole program, right?
Oh, he sent me a text and like broke everything down of what I should be taking and why. This is what it does to my body. I was just like, and I just went to Whole Foods with my wife, and there was no questions asked. I go, just get it. I don't know what this is. Like, somebody in Whole Foods went to the back to find it. It wasn't on the shelf. One of the things he gave me, he goes,
and I'm sure Romani, you checked out, it was like $4,000 at Whole Foods.
Yeah, and Romani was like, he was like, now this isn't going to be on the shelf, but they have it. They have it. I'm like, how do you know this?
I mean, he's got off-the-shelf Whole Foods stuff. I mean, do we have time for a 45-second Romani story, which is one of my favorites?
Yeah.
And this will tee him up perfect for when he's on your show. So when we were shooting Think Like a Man 2, we were all living in Vegas casinos, and, it sounds fun in theory, and it's fun for a little while, but by, like, week 4, it's like, man, smoky casinos, like living on a spaceship. Romani was all about still being, like, extremely healthy through the process, and I was like having skin problems while I was there, and like we just all feel weird. He was saying that it's the water in the casino showers and stuff like that. Like, you guys, like, you need to change the shower heads in your hotel bathroom. I'm like, first of all, I've never thought to change a shower in my own house, let alone a hotel bathroom. So as a gift to the cast, Romani bought these like industrial strength filtered shower heads, and he went one by one. And think like a man's a large cast. He went like one by one and changed everyone's shower head in their hotel room. He saw like an apple in my hotel room. He's like, you know what? When you rinse off your apple, use the filtered shower. I'm like washing apples in my shower. The guy is unbelievable. He's the greatest. He's just the best. Romani is the best. This is a major Romani infomercial right now.
Honestly, that's why I wanted him to come on last, because every cast member, we've spent at least 5 to 10 minutes talking about Romani.
Yes.
And so I definitely, when my podcast came back, right off the bat, I said I want to get all the guys on within the first couple months. But Romani was always going to be last. And it's timing out perfect because he's got his movie coming out, Tijuana Jackson, at the end of the month. And so I'm going to have him on right before it drops so we can pump the movie and that. But that's going to be my longest podcast. That might go 4 or 5 hours.
And I'm going to go on record and say you're going to get big numbers on that one. That's like a must listen the minute that episode drops. I'm telling you, that's a must. They're all must listens, but the Romani Malco episode, listen to that one right away.
Now, how did you go about getting the part in Think Like a Man? Was it an offer? Did you have to audition?
So that was coming right off, like Entourage was literally like ending in a week. And obviously everyone's thinking, what's next? At that point in time too, I would get movie offers, but usually it's movies that, were lacking in certain areas or whatever. They weren't real, like they were kind of going to happen, but they still needed financing, stuff like that, So then I get this offer, and I remember my agent said, you got an offer on a movie, so my mind immediately goes to like, I'll read it. I was unenthusiastic in the beginning because that's just how it was going for me. And then I read the script and like halfway through, I'm like, wow, this is really good. I got an offer on this? Are you sure I don't have to audition? Because for the good stuff, I got to go fight for it like pretty much most people. And like, no, it's an offer. I immediately was like, I'm down. I knew like it was from like the Steve Harvey book. And obviously I knew about Will Packer and Tim's story to that point. And Kevin was already attached to it. So reading it, knowing that, and knowing Kevin Hart's work already. So reading the script and hearing Kevin's voice in my head while reading it, it just was instantly even funnier. And but then when I heard the rest of the cast start coming in, like, Michael Ealy, Taraji, I'm like, wow, this is like some great actors. And then I heard Gabrielle Union, and then I'm like, wait, which character is she playing? And they said she's playing Kristen, your character's like girlfriend who wants the ring. I'm like, I'm out. You know what? I'm out. I'm not doing it. And everyone's like, what do you mean you're not doing it? I'm like, because there's no way anyone is going to watch this movie and think that I was able to, like, get this woman, who she wants to marry. Like, I just thought, like, I'm even going to get killed. I was obviously freaking out for no reason, but I was calmed down, and obviously I did the movie. But, yeah, always in the back of my head, I'm like, man, how am I going to make people believe that I was able to get her? That's a stretch, but it worked. It worked.
Yeah, you gotta put that Diamond Girl charm on him. That's my favorite story from you in between takes on set is when you said where you grew up in New York. What part of New York you grew up in?
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn.
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And you said all the guys would be riding around and what was it, an IROC Z?
There's IROCs. Yeah, it's like, and, tough dudes. Like, these were not like, these guys were like rough guys, and they would get in their car, but like, meticulously put together, hair, combed, everything. But, like I said, rough dudes, like not afraid of many things, but just like they turn the radio on and they start driving and be like, Diamond Girl, yes.
You're
like all this
my Diamond Girl.
Freestyle music, big deal in Brooklyn in the 90s.
The way you just acted it out, though, when we were on set, I was like, I remember the song, and it was like out of a movie. Like I could see that scene in a movie. Like this is the early 90s.
And Gab was on set that day. To this day, if Gab's anywhere where that song comes on, she takes a video and sends it to me. No matter where, she could be anywhere in the world, and she travels a lot. If that song comes on, I get some kind of Instagram DM or a text, and it's just her singing Diamond Girl to this day.
Diamond Girl.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
like, it's one of those songs that you don't want nobody to know you know, but you sing it, you don't turn off when it's on the radio when you're by yourself.
Man, if that comes on, like when you're getting out the shower, getting dressed, like, yeah, the world is yours. Do whatever you want.
Here's the thing about your career was crazy. So you go from Entourage, which was how many seasons?
8.
8 seasons. So clearly, like, you build solid relationships with that cast. You cannot be around people that long and not build a solid relationship. And then you go into Think Like a Man, where everyone I've talked to has said, nobody's ever worked on a film where we all like just, we became like an extended family to each other. And then when I was talking to Ilya about it, I said, but what I didn't realize till later on, we basically spent 4 summers together. Between 2011, we shot it. 2012, we did press. 2013, we did the second one. Then 2014, we did press again. So it really was like 4 summers of us just hanging out.
Yeah, and look, a lot of the time, in my experiences, there's always that in the moment talk of, man, when this movie wraps, we're all gonna stay in touch and we're gonna get together and we're gonna and it always it means well. I don't think any of that's ever really phony. I think in the moment it's meant. But life comes along and gets it a little bit in the way, and like time goes by. It doesn't mean you're not friendly with those people, but it just happens. But with the Think Like a Man cast, everyone is still very much in touch. Like anytime anyone is ever, whether it's like, help me promote this or help me with, like, it's just like, it's like instant, like you would for family. Like, it's done. Consider it done. You don't need to ask twice. Just like you asked me to come on the pod. You were on my podcast 4 years ago. It's like, it's done. Every time I'm in LA, I always make it a point to see someone. Me and Lala worked together on Power. So, we kind of kept that going. And yeah, it really was a family. That's been the biggest blessing of my entire career, besides just the fact that I was able to work, which still is shocking to me, is I have an Entourage family, and then I have a Think Like a Man family, and then I have a Power family. And
yeah,
I don't know many people who have that story 3 times, where I'm still in touch with pretty much almost everyone from all 3 projects.
Now, did you just get offered the part in Power also? Or did you have to audition for that one?
Power was it was initially an offer for a different role back in season 1. And I met with Courtney Kemp, the show creator and producer and writer. I had read the Power pilot, and I was just, after reading it, I'm like, man, this show is gonna be it. So we met, and then there was a smaller part in the pilot that she offered me, and I think at the time, fortunately and unfortunately, we were still shooting the Entourage movie, so just the dates conflicted, which is something that gets me so upset, because there's so many months in the year where I am not working. So to get offered like 2 good jobs that shoot at the same time, it's like, now I have to choose. If we could just spread things out, that would be fine. So it didn't work out, but Courtney said to me, well, I think that you're a really talented actor. I know there's more to what you could do than like just Entourage and stuff like that. And I wanna like change some perception of you. I'm gonna write something for you, and I'm gonna come back for you, and I hope you say yes. And I said, sure. I've heard that lots and lots of times in my career, but thank you, it'd be great. And sure enough, a year later, she calls and says, hey, I wrote this role. It's for this criminal defense attorney who has his own shady life. And she told me who it was based on. It was based on some real stuff that happened that we were both fans of in like the kind of organized crime world I was in. But again, at the time, it's a small part. It's like 2 scenes in 1 episode, and then you come back later. But she said, it's going somewhere. I have like this whole 5-year plan for the character. I said, okay, sure. I guess I believe you. And she did. She told me things she was going to do almost up until the character of Proctor's death. I don't think she fully knew how that was going to happen, but all the stuff with like the wife and his daughter and Ghost going to jail, like she told me that stuff like in season 2 or 3. Like she just knew. And I say to this day, she's maybe the only person, at least for me, who said, I'm going to write a role for you, and actually did.
It's funny you say that, because you're not the only person that goes through that, Jerry, with the whole, you're not working for 6 months, and then you get 2-3 offers at the same time, and you're just like, why did this happen? What is going on? The biggest dilemma I've had, and it's happened to me twice, is I got offered a movie role or shoot a pilot. And so the movie role, people are going to see it. But the pilot, you're like, oh, I don't want to pass up on if this show ends up being a hit. And now I'm not on it. Both times I picked a pilot, and neither pilot got picked up. It's
frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, Will Packer came and he offered me a part in Little. And I was like, yeah. And then he literally sent me the emoji with the hand on the face. He goes, you're not going to believe this. He goes, we can't move the schedule around. And so you got to pick. And I went, keep me in mind for the next one.
Yeah, but it's the worst. Do you like when you're making those decisions, do you feel confident that you're making the right one? Or because for me, in the few times that's happened, I'm always just like, I'm going to make the wrong decision. That's painfully obvious. And then I'm going to be sitting around for 4 months without a job saying, oh, why couldn't I have just done that here? It doesn't work that way. They always say, especially with acting, like you want to book a job, to book a vacation. Because you'll always get offered a job like right when you least expect it and are kind of least ready for it. That's usually when it comes around.
I don't overthink it. My thing is I'm a stand-up at the core. So I'm always looking at it like, how will this sell more tickets as a stand-up? Will more people see me? The 2 movies I passed on, one was Little. I can't remember the other one. That was probably 6 years ago. But I don't think either of them would have like translated into, oh my God, that guy, that's his movie. And we got to go. It wasn't like a Tiffany Haddish and Girlfriends type thing.
Right. You take the bigger swing with the pilot because if that goes, you could be on the air for 3, 4, 5 years. Like it's hard to get a show on the air, but when you do, and I guess that's partly why too. I just favor television in general. First of all, I think there's great stuff on television right now. Obviously, there's great movies out there, but I think stuff on TV is great right now. And then I like the actual sense of like playing a character for 3, 4, 5 years and taking this whole journey and telling a story a little slower.
I think when I met you, I think I didn't know you had lost all the weight.
It's coming back though, Gary. It's coming back.
Now, a lot of that was baby weight too. I didn't realize how young you were when you got the part. How old were you when you got the part of Turtle?
Oh God, 23?
God. And
23, yeah.
That had to be an audition, right?
Oh, that was probably like 70 auditions. They were casting a pretty wide net, but then at some point it became like clear like that Doug Ellen, the show creator, wanted like New York guys because there was always like because it's Wahlberg and his friends, should it be Boston or whatever? I read for Doug a bunch of times, and then it all leads to like the final test, which is the network test. That process in itself in one day is enough to give even the most calm people anxiety. But yeah, that was months of an audition process.
You get the part in Turtle, and clearly that's life-changing. Did you have a feeling, like I think when we shot Think Like a Man, we had a feeling this is going to be a pretty good movie. I didn't think we didn't know how good, how many numbers it would do, but we thought this is going to be a good movie. When you're shooting Entourage, you get done with the pilot, did you think, oh man, this is a game changer? Because it really was a game changer as far as like programming on HBO and everything.
It was, Gary, but you got to understand, right? Like, again, I'm 23. I've been out in LA 3 years, and I've done some guest starring stuff here or there, a couple of indies, but for the most part, I was a full-time waiter, much like a lot of actors out there. I more was just terrified it wasn't going to get picked up because you go shoot the pilot, and then you got like 3 months of waiting time where they're trying to figure out if they want to pick it up. So that was the longest 3 months of my life, I think. It's the difference of, wow, if the show gets picked up, I have like a real acting job on HBO that I'll get paid real money, and that's it. And if it doesn't, you're right back into the restaurant cycle. Like that's what you're waiting for your fate to be decided. So that 3 months was long. And then when it got picked up, you breathe a sigh of relief. But for me, it wasn't until about season 3 where I really felt like, okay, this show's good, people are watching it, and I have job security. First 2 seasons, I was a nervous wreck, just thinking like, someone's going to take this away from me. This is too good to be true.
And you guys had the best guest stars. Entourage had the best guest stars.
Yeah, which was not easy in the beginning because a lot of it in the early years was people like, wait, what's the show? And they thought we were trying to make fun, like all the cameos in the beginning, I thought people thought we were making fun of them. But that was always never the intention. It was, come on, help legitimize this fake Hollywood world we created. If you want to poke fun at yourself, great. If you don't, that's cool too. Like, you're in on the joke. This is not like it's not like a shit fest where we're gonna just try and come in and clown you. As that gained a little momentum, that it was like a good experience, and the show got a little more notoriety, then, I mean, it was left and right. Doug Ellen had like a list of people, like every year, agents calling like, this guy, this girl wants to be on the show, and it was incredible. Like having a call sheet one day to be like, okay, in the morning we have a cameo with Bob Saget, and in the afternoon there's a cameo with Sidney Pollack, and then the evening time Kanye's coming in to do the Can episode. It's like that's all in one day. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of like my podcast. Yeah,
exactly.
Try to get people to legitimize it, and then everybody's going to want to be on it.
Exactly, man. This is it. This could be the episode that does that.
I'd say you talk about anxiety. That was my biggest anxiety about, because I had my podcast for a while, but I was just doing it by myself. And then when I was like, okay, I got a studio behind it, and we're going to have guests. My biggest anxiety was, okay, I'm going to have to make phone calls, and this is going to really tell me where I stand with people, if they like me or not. Because if everybody blows me off and be like, okay, I got to change some things about myself.
Listen, man, yes, that is a big part of it. You know, I had a podcast for 4 years with Bree, and, you know, we asked every friend in the business or out of the business to come on, and pretty much everyone did. But yeah, at some point you do start feeling like, oh man, I don't want to ask, but I really want this person on the show.
Yeah.
And, but you know what, Gary? You've earned a lot of goodwill in your career. I don't think you're gonna have a problem getting people on.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I was talking to Ely about it, and we was like, he brought up you. He goes, with I think like a man cast, we've seen everybody just like go through the full range of growing up. And he goes, look at Jerry. Jerry was single with no kids. And now you're married with a kid, and we felt like we were with you the whole journey. He's like, oh yeah, that's her nephew.
So first off, again, with this cast, I'll always reference the Think cast because it's just the greatest group you could ever be with for like a few months of a period where you're seeing everyone, 60 hours a week. So I had just started dating, my wife now, Bree. We were just starting to date when we were doing Think Like a Man 2. I remember sitting in between takes in a restaurant we were shooting at with Ely, telling him all about this girl I met that I'm really into, but it's complicated. And Ely gives the best advice ever. He just broke it down to me, and he gave me some insight that I'm not necessarily going to share to this day, but I've told my wife what he said to me, and he was right, and I followed it. And man, we've been married. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. We got a 14-month-old son. But yeah, Ely was like in it with me. He was the person I was going to. He was my therapist.
And that's what I love most about this business is, the media wants to portray it as it's just dysfunctional and selfish and greedy. And I go, the moments I love the most is not what we're doing on screen. It's those moments in between scenes when we're just talking and BSing about life and everything. And sometimes you sit back and be like, how lucky am I that I'm able to sit with Kevin Hart and Taraji and just BS about life, and knowing that I don't have to share that with the world. Like that's something I like to hold on to. Like I got like an insight that most people would like pay money to get. I was like, how lucky am I?
It really was lightning in a bottle. But similar, you were saying earlier, like we all had the feeling when we were shooting the first one that it was good. I remember when I went in for my wardrobe fitting on Think 1, and I went to set where they were like on day 2 of shooting, and Ely and Taraji were shooting a scene. So I just went up to say a quick hello, and Ely just came up to me and literally we said, what's up? And like he just whispered to me, he's like, yo, this is a lot of fun. It's only day 2, but we're having a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm like, okay. No one's really ever said that to me, like getting ready to start a shoot. Like everyone has like their own anxieties and stuff like that. Ely just pulled me and was like, this shit's a lot of fun. You're going to have fun. And I think we were all confident that the movie was going to do well. But what I don't think it's talked about enough with the first one was I think that was one of the first early social media campaigns for a movie. I mean, it was going on already at that point, obviously. But everyone in that movie, and I don't know if that was like part of the strategy for Will Packer, but everyone going into the movie already had a pretty good social following. You know, it's 2011. Think back to that. I just remember the social push being so hard, and I was trying to keep up because I was still new to social media at that point. So I was trying to keep up with it. But we thought that, all right, this movie's going to make, you know, it's going to open. If it opens at 15 million, like everyone, like such a great opening, we're all going to be so psyched. And then it opened at like 36. This was almost right out of an episode of Entourage. Like my agent's giving me the tracking updates. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it looks like it's going to open at 18. Great. No, it's going to open at 22. Oh my God. And then it climbs to like number 1 and opened at 30 something. And that was, it came out Easter weekend, I believe. That Easter Sunday, my agent, to celebrate in like true Entourage fashion, took me to a courtside Laker game. Lakers, Thunder, the game where Metta World Peace elbowed James Harden in the head and knocked him out. Kobe and Serge Ibaka dove into the stands, into me and my agent, and knocked us out of our chairs. It was like the most surreal weekend ever. Number 1 movie, courtside Laker game. I just could not believe this was happening.
Huh. Yeah, my agent got me a gift card to a restaurant. I'm like this. Oh.
Hey, man.
Oh, your agent took you courtside to a Laker game? Huh.
I always think back though. I'm like always like, I wonder who fell out that day. He probably like had 3 people canceled because it was Easter and they were having dinner with their families. And you were right. I was the single guy. I think like man one. I'm like, I ain't got shit to do. I'll go. Let's go. Laker game.
Right.
Easter Sunday. Who cares? Let's go to the Laker game. My family's in New York. Let's go.
Well, you know, with me, with all you guys, because I knew Kevin already because we're both comedians. I've known Kevin for years. I didn't know Ely. I met Romani once or twice, same with Terrence. With you, I remember the first day on set, it was the night shoots, and we were shooting that the food truck scene with Taraji and Mike.
Right.
And how I built a rapport with you immediately was I knew you were a New York guy. I knew you were a diehard sports fan. So I just went up and go, hey, what do you think the Giants are going to do this year? That was the first thing I said to you. And it was like an hour later, we were just talking. Bengals, Giants. And you were upset because the Giants, they just drafted Nakamura, some DB.
Yes.
Prince Nakamura.
Prince Nakamura, yeah.
And I remember telling you, I go, hey, man, I think he got hurt. And you were like, what? What? And you get on your phone, like, how'd you know that? I was like, I was trying to get to know you, so I figured that would be a good icebreaker.
It's weird. You know what? You really did always have a lot of Giant updates for someone who's not a Giant fan. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's like putting a quarter in the jukebox. Like, the minute you said Giants, I go, you watch football? You're a Giant fan? What's going on? And yeah, that was... I mean, how many Bengal Giant bets have we had over the year? I think I lost them all, right? Have I ever? I don't think I've ever. The Giants. I don't think the Giants have ever won. Oh,
they won one. They won 3 years ago when Odell Beckham just juked the shit out of Pac-Man Jones in the end zone. I was like, oh. So
but I know I lost one, and I was supposed to buy you a steak dinner or something. And this is what we were doing. Think Like a Man 2. Mm-hmm. And then we went to a bar, you and I, we watched Knicks Pacers.
Playoff
the year
game.
the Knicks made it to the second round, playoff game. And I think I bought us food at the bar. It was not a steak dinner, full disclosure. It was not steak. It was like wings and beer or whatever we were drinking. Yeah, we watched a Knicks Pacer game at the bar because the Bengals beat the Giants the prior year.
My memory is ridiculous. It was cold that night in L.A., and you was in your jacket. And I just remember you... When I said, hey, you a Giants fan? And you kind of looked and go, yeah. And then when I start giving like Giants players and statistics, I think the jacket came off Jerry. I think he was like, what?
Started sweating. Yeah.
You know about Mark Bavaro? What?
How he used to make the sign of the cross after every touchdown in the end zone? Yeah.
I mean, me and you are the sports guy. I mean, yeah, everybody else likes sports, but when you talk about like breaking down statistics and are emotional about the draft picks and the coaching changes, I was like, Jerry was the guy. You want to get him fired up, especially with the Knicks.
Oh, God. I mean, and that still goes to this day.
Being such a sports fan, who do you want the Knicks to hire as the coach?
I go back and forth, right? Because you start thinking of, obviously, the veteran guys, you know, Tom Thibodeau, Mike Brown. Like, of course, like, you want a veteran coach who's been around for a while. He's done it before, and we've kind of done that, and it hasn't really worked. And then there's the thought of like, Kenny Atkinson, who took like a very young Nets team, and it really seemed like he developed those players. They maybe were going to do it no matter what, but that seemed like a fit. I kind of want to go young. I want to go someone who's like young, hungry, wants to build something from the ground up, because that's where the Knicks are right now. They have a lot of young players. They're going to get a lot more. They're going to get a lot younger through the draft. So I just think we need a coach who is really good developmentally, and someone who gets like time, gets a few years to build, and not just like true kind of New York fashion. You have a bad year, you're out. Like, I just want someone who could build. I like Mike Miller, the guy who filled in for Fizdale, because he comes out of the G League. He's a really good G League coach, so he knows how to develop young talent already. I'm curious to see what happens, believe me. I'm very curious to see what happens.
For me being a Bengals fan, every time I feel like I'm frustrated, I'll see a Knicks game on, and I'll think of you, and I'll be like, okay, it's not that bad right now.
Such a dick, Gary. That hurt, man.
But now, here's the thing. You're a sports fan, you're a New York guy, and then you get married to Bree, and she's an Ohio girl, but she's a Cleveland girl. And you had an IG post a few years ago. You was like, you had sideline passes to a Browns game, and I felt like you were shifted. You were like, something's going on here. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on here.
Here's my theory on that, okay? And this is something that a friend of mine, Ben Lyons, came up with this term. It's one of my favorite terms. It's called your team-in-law, right? I'm a Giants fan, always will be, but unless it was like the Dallas Cowboys or the Eagles, something in like direct contact, that would be a problem. The Browns and the Giants have zero rivalry. Now there's a little something because the Browns have Odell, but they're in different conferences. And like, how do you hate on the Browns and the Browns fans? Like, if you're a sports fan and like underdog stories, stuff like that, like, how do you, like, I just felt like the Browns colors. I was wearing, like, that day we had sideline passes. I was wearing a Browns hat and a Browns sweatshirt. I got a lot of shit for that. People saying like I was a traitor, I was a Giants fan. It's like, listen, I hear you. But I think as far as sports go, I think I'm wise enough to know when I'm in like civilian waters and this is not a threat. Okay? Nothing about this day with my family and my in-laws was a threat to my Giants fandom. So I'm putting the hat on. I'm rooting for the Browns today. They're playing the Raiders, two teams that have nothing to do with my team. It was easy. People still kill me for that and say you should have never put a Browns hat on.
Jerry, you know what you say that? Sometimes you just got to cut all the sugarcoating out and just go, she's a Browns fan, she sucks my dick. Boom. There's no guy out there that's going to be like, okay, well, I see that. Okay, well, yeah, okay.
Listen.
We'll let that slide.
That was civilian waters. I don't think, like, again, if I was at, like, Cowboys Stadium with a Cowboys hat on, yes, I should be kicked out of the Giant fandom for sure. A little different for you. Like, if, Bengal fan from Cincinnati, like, if you went to a Browns game and wore a Browns hat, that's a massive, that would never happen. You'd never do it.
That. I can't. You know what? The Browns stadium, the Browns game is the only place where a guy really tried to start like a real fight with me. And it was the Bengals and Browns, like Carson Palmer was there, so it was that era. And we're leaving the game, and it's crowded when you leave a game. And this guy just comes right up next to me and is like, hey man, you hitting on my wife? And I think I let his wife ahead of me and said, go ahead, or I might have put my hand on her back just to, it was getting crowded. And I looked at him, I looked at his wife, and I was like, you're giving yourself way too much credit right now. and
the answer is no. The quick answer is no, I'm not hitting on your wife.
I just remember thinking, I just kind of faded away because he was so like backwoods. I don't think he realized it was a put down. I think he was processing what I said. He was like, wait a minute, what'd he say? And I just kind of faded back. Pretty soon I was gone. But that's the only time a guy literally just got up in my face. Hey man, you hitting on my wife right now? I was like, are you hitting on my wife? I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm looking at him, looking at his wife. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come close to like I got into like some trolling arguments with people at games, but the old days, like the 90s, like Yankees Red Sox games, and I've gone to Fenway a few times. There's a few times where I'm like, if we don't shut the fuck up, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble here.
Oh.
Okay, let's just get out of Fenway and go back to New York. But never since then. No, it's been hasn't been a problem.
Is there a line or is there a borough where people decide they're going to be Jets fans or Giants fans or Yankee fans or Mets fans?
Like typically with Yankees and Mets, the Bronx obviously shades Yankee fan, Queens obviously shades Met fans, and then like Brooklyn was always the wild card because the Brooklyn, if you trace it all the way back, the Dodgers were in Brooklyn. So, and I always think about that, like what would you do if your favorite team when you were a kid left? Like the Brooklyn Dodgers left and went to Los Angeles. Like, do you then go root for the Yankees after that, the Mets, or do you say, like for me, I would probably have become an LA Dodger fan because once I fall in love with the team, I become loyal to the team more so than like the city in a way. But so Brooklyn was always like right down the middle. I grew up with a lot of Yankee fans and a lot of Met fans in Brooklyn, but Bronx and Queens are pretty territorial. As far as Giants, Jets, there's nothing that really separates geographically. It was a lot of teams that, because the Jets were an expansion team in the 60s, so a lot of teams just were maybe fed up with the Giants and went Jets, but there's nothing that really separates them. And then as far as basketball, I mean, I have some friends who became a Brooklyn Nets fan because they moved into Brooklyn. I just don't get that. How could you root for the Knicks all these years, and then the Knicks been on some hard times for a while. I get it, but now like just because the Nets come from Jersey to Brooklyn, you're like, all right, we're Brooklyn now. I just don't get it. It could never happen to me.
You were a teenager. Let me see. You're a teenager when they did that. I didn't realize this till the other day. I was watching that. It was like June 17th. Was so much happened in sports that day with the OJ and the Knicks in Game 6, or that was Game 5.
I think it was Game 2.
Was it Game 2?
Finals. I think it was Game 2 because it was in New York. I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
They won. I know the Knicks won that game. I was in the Navy and I had ACL surgery. And I was coming out of anesthesia. And I was such a Patrick Ewing guy. That was my dude. From Georgetown to the Knicks. Wherever Ewing went, I was going. So I was a Knicks fan like you, Jerry, for about 10, 11 years when Ewing was there.
I remember when they broke in the game. Yeah, they switched screens. Like they put the Knicks like in the small box in the corner and we're on the OJ chase like on the big screen during the finals.
I never understood that. I just remember I was in a Navy hospital, ACL surgery. I'm 19, 20 years old, and I was just like, okay, they got to go back to the Knicks game. I'm like passing out, then waking up and passing out, and then it just it seemed like I was like, dude, how long is this car chase gonna last? I thought it was me. I thought I was just drugged up. I thought I was dreaming it.
No, it was. I remember where I was watching that game. I was at my friend Rob's house, and there was a part of us that was like, we're Knicks fans. We're like, go back to the Knicks game. But then there was this other part of you that is like, what the hell is going on with OJ right now? Yeah, man, that was craziness.
Have you ever run into OJ in
your
life?
No. No.
He came to a show of mine one time.
Really?
Yeah. And they were...
Where at?
I was at the Miami Improv. It was probably 2000, 2001. I will say, you don't know how do you approach OJ when he approaches you? Because he wanted to meet me backstage after the show. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
I don't know either. I have no advice for you.
So I said, I'll come out to the bar. Tell him I'm gonna come out to the bar. So I come out to the bar and he's sitting there and you always hear how charming he is. And I went in there like, I don't like this guy. I should not like him. And 2 minutes, he sucked me in.
He got you?
I was like, because I watched that thing on ESPN about, OJ, and I was like, oh my God, he just OJ'd me. Because he literally went, where are you from, man? And I was like, Cincinnati. He goes, oh man, I remember. He broke down like the 4 times he played the Bengals in Cincinnati when he was in Buffalo.
Oh, you're done. He killed you. He got you right there.
Right, he sucked me right in. Like, yo, man, it was cold as shit. And you want a drink? I was like, no, I'm good. Just I was like this. Wait, look, can we talk about your wife?
Oh, man.
Can we bring that up? But let me tell you what OJ did at the show. This is classic, Jerry. So he showed up with a guy and 2 white women, right? The host goes, hey, OJ, do you mind if I announce you're in the room? And he was like, yeah, but give me a heads up. Let me know when you're going to do it. And so there was like a joke or something, some word the host was going to say before he said, OJ Simpson is here. And the guy did it. He says, yeah, we got a special guest in the house tonight. We got OJ Simpson. When he said that, OJ had moved between the 2 white women and was now sitting between 2 black women. And I was like, oh, this motherfucker's smooth.
Are you serious?
He didn't want the crowd to see him between 2 white women because, it was almost all black people in the crowd. So obviously everybody turned and there's OJ, like, he like waved.
And this is in Miami, you said?
In Miami, and he moved and was now between 2 black women. And then when I got on stage, I looked back, he moved back to his normal seat with the white girls that he came with.
Now let me ask you a question. If you had a OJ joke in your set, would you have pulled it or would you have done it knowing he was in the crowd?
I wouldn't have did it. I wouldn't. The gangster would have been like this. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll tell anything I want, Jerry. I don't give a shit.
You wouldn't have done it. No.
But I'm like, being honest with you, nah, I would have let that slide.
Understood.
But yeah, he straight OJ'd me. I was like, did this dude just suck me in? Like, there was the one moment where I was like, I'm not even gonna ask for a picture. I don't know if and this was before social media. I was like, I don't know what are people gonna think if I just got a picture of OJ.
Keep it moving.
Right? Now, I forgot to ask you, how'd you meet your wife?
So I met my wife through a mutual friend at a birthday party, but ironically enough, she had done an episode of Entourage prior to that night we met, but we didn't meet on set. All her stuff was not with my character. We didn't work any intersecting days. I do remember like seeing the episode back. I used to go watch some of the episodes early with Doug because I was not good at like watching them on TV with people and stuff like that. So I just go check on like some of the episodes, and I remember like seeing her episode, and in my mind I remember saying like, wow, that girl's beautiful. Like she's this very, very beautiful woman right there. And then met her at the party like about a year later, hung out, talked a little bit, but nothing really happened. We just had like a fun night and talked, but I don't even think we exchanged numbers at that point. I ran into her again, and it's one of those, I just kept running into this person. It's like, I don't even know if that happens to other people, but we just kept running in. Our paths just went from like not intersecting at all to like now they're just intersecting regularly. I don't know if we were subconsciously trying to make it happen, but yeah, man, kind of once we went on our first date, honestly, I swear to you, like never went on another date with anybody again. I believe that she hasn't either. And that was about 7 years ago. It has just been the 2 of us since that moment. And then since I got some really, as I mentioned earlier, some sound advice from Michael Ealy in Vegas, we've been off to the races.
And now will your son, will he be a Browns or Giants fan?
Oh, that's such a good question, Gary. Look, I selfishly, obviously, I want the Giants. Like, I want him to like all the teams I like, but that's selfish. The non-negotiable ones for me, are the Knicks are non-negotiable. Like, you will not be a Cavs fan or a Lakers fan. Like, the Knicks are non-negotiable. We're going to suffer through that together as father and son. I'm a little torn. Like, I think it would be fine if it's either the Indians or the Browns. If he likes baseball and football and he is favoring one of those teams, I think I'll allow one. I think one will be fine. But, and again, the Browns are non-threatening to the Giants, and I watch all football games, but yeah, like the Knicks are non-negotiable. Like, sorry, son, we are in this shit together. Like,
Jerry,
it's going to be when the Knicks win their championship in like 20 years, and you're going to be on social media like, now my old ass dad could die happy because the Knicks won a championship.
Jerry, I just asked you, so is it Browns or Giants? You did not give me an answer at all. You went to Knicks.
I sidestepped.
I'm listening going, Oh, he don't even know. He bullshit me right now. He's
All right, here's
OJing
the
me.
answer.
You just OJ me, Jerry.
I choose to. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm all for, obviously, you know, there's some decisions that you can't let little kids make on their own. You got to help. But I'm going to present both teams. Should he like football? It's not a requirement. I would appreciate it. I'm going to present both products. I'm going to watch Giants games with him, and I will watch, and Bree will watch Browns games with him, and he will decide himself. How's that?
Okay. So Bree's like diehard. Like she's in it.
Yes. Like when the Cavs won the title and LeBron got that championship, and when he said Cleveland, this is for you, Bree was just she's like in the corner crying. She's like, you have no idea what this means. Crying. I have video. She's literally saying like, you have no idea what this means to the city of Cleveland. If the Browns won a Super Bowl, I honestly don't know what would happen. I don't know what would happen.
Listen, Jerry, I've said this numerous times. If the Bengals ever won the Super Bowl, I told my wife, have bail money ready. I'm probably going to be arrested. I go, and there might be new pictures of me.
I was going to say, I see you like streaking in like full Bengals body paint, just like hugging people. I'll support the bail fund money too.
I might do Amber Rose. I might have Cincinnati Bengals tattooed right here on my forehead if it ever happens. Oh my God. I don't think about it. So I understand Bree's passion. The Cavaliers, though, I was like, because Cleveland, I don't care if the Cavs became like the Warriors. That's a football town. That is a football town. I mean, it's great the Cavs won a title, and it's great for the city. But in the end, Indians, Cavaliers, they always take a step back from the Browns. That is a football city.
I completely agree. Getting to know a lot of her friends and family there in the last 7 years, like that's one of the things I like. I love most about that city is that like it's such a sports town. But when you think about how long the city's gone without a championship in general and in any sport, the fact that I think they were at a place where like we will take any title we could get. Like I said, like if the Browns won a Super Bowl. I always say this with the Knicks, too. This was my pitch to Kevin Durant. I didn't make this pitch to him perfectly. I did this episode of my podcast before he signed with the Warriors the first time. My pitch was, if you win a title in New York for the Knicks, that's worth 3 anywhere else. It's just a fact.
Oh, without question.
And I feel the same way about the Browns. Like, if the Browns win a Super Bowl, that is the equivalent of, like, 3 Super Bowls in almost any. There's a few other cities that would be the same way with football. But if the Cleveland Browns won the Super Bowl, that's the equivalent of 3. That's how much value it would have.
With me being a stand-up, too, you grow up in Cincinnati. We don't like Pittsburgh. We don't like Cleveland. And now we don't like Baltimore. Those are 3 of the best comedy cities in the country. Like, people come out, they buy tickets, and I'm sitting here going, God, I love these cities now because they're great comedy towns, but I'm not supposed to. Pittsburgh, more than anything, that's, and Bree can attest to this, they just treat Cincinnati and Cleveland like we're their stepkids, and they just abuse us. I read
they got those shiny rings, man. They got shiny rings.
Your wife probably knows stats about Cleveland. Did you know Ben Roethlisberger is like the all-time winningest quarterback in that stadium?
Yes. That is the most ironic stat I've ever heard in my life. Yes, he's the all-time winningest quarterback in that stadium. He has more wins than any other quarterback to ever live, I think, in that stadium.
Who's the new quarterback now? Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, yes. A lot of kids being named Baker nowadays in Cleveland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think he might have passed him. I think he might have passed Ben. Because he's been there for 2 years. I think he's got more home wins, or he's close.
I will look that up when we're done, and I will send you a text, because now you got me curious.
Yeah. Now, are you a UFC fan?
I am. I would probably say I'm a little bit bigger of a boxing fan, but I've always watched UFC and respect. I wouldn't say I'm like hardcore, like as a rabid UFC fan, but yes, I mean, I've been to many events. I've ordered pay-per-views. I just enjoy, combat sports as someone who respects it and does not participate and does not, a lot of people watch UFC and boxing, like they still in their minds think that like they could, if they train, they could participate. We talked about it earlier with Ronda. I've always known I cannot. So I watch it from afar with a great deal of respect.
Well, I think us being such sports fans, the reason I brought that up is just, man, I get so fired up now that we can watch boxing starting to do it and UFC's been doing it. Just, we got something to watch, live sports. I mean, just thank God for Dana White and the UFC, because I'm watching every prelim, everything now. One, we don't have a lot to do, and two, I'm just happy we got sports again.
Yeah, at first when I heard that they were coming back, I without crowds, I'm like, how is that gonna work? Like, so much of, like, to me, the UFC is like the energy from the crowd is so tangible, but in a weird way, then when you watch the fights and you really hear the impact of the blows and you really hear, the coaches shout and stuff, it's almost like a more intense experience without the crowd watching at home. I'm sure the fighters would prefer the energy of the crowd. Maybe, I don't know. I'd love to find out. But yeah, it's great to have something to watch, and obviously you're hoping everybody stays healthy. It seems to be going that way, right? I mean, I don't think I've heard anything awful.
No. There's a huge fight this weekend. Huge.
Yes.
Jorge
Where
Masvidal.
is that? That's in
Abu Dhabi.
It's in Abu Dhabi, right? I saw that he all his tests came back good and he got on the plane. I think I saw on Twitter right before we fired this up.
Oh, I can't wait. I mean, I don't know how big UFC fan I am. Do you remember last year when Jorge Masvidal just knocked out that Ben Askren in like 2 seconds?
Was that the knee?
That was the flying knee.
He came running out like he was going to throw hands and he just hit him with a fly. I mean, that was... You know what my mind thought about the whole time, too? Man, what an easy day work. Yeah. Like, that's the easiest payday that dude's ever going to make.
Jerry, I go the opposite direction. I go straight into Ben Askren, like, fuck, that's got to suck to be him.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I'm sure he put in a ton of work for that fight, so I can't say it was all easy. But, man, like, just knowing that every time you get in the ring or, or the cage, like, you probably, as a fighter, maybe lose a little bit of yourself each time just getting hit. And just to go through a fight like that where literally you put in, for the actual fight itself, not the minimal effort, but you only had to perform one violent act to win the fight. And that's like one, like it counts as a win on his record, but his body did not really feel the effects.
It was a year ago. It was almost like a year ago that happened. And that guy's retired now, Ben Askren. He wasn't the same after that.
No, I don't know if you can be. I mean,
no.
I don't know. Even anyone who's been like knocked out in football when they were a kid, or like I had a friend get knocked out from getting hit with like a hard ball in Little League. Like, I don't know I don't think you're ever the same when you get knocked out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you are, but
we always said that about you. I don't know if you knew that. I think we were talking about it on set with Think Like a Man. We said if you was gonna get in a fight out of the cast, who do you want with you? Just making a phone call. They're not going to ask what's going on. They're just going to show up. Everybody was like, Jerry.
Really? First of all, no one ever asked me this question.
Well, that's because we were talking amongst each other. We was like, Jerry. Jerry seems like the type that would just show up. Like, yeah, where's he at? What's going on?
Oh, for sure. I mean, also, too, it's like, I mean, and that was 10 years ago. Maybe I would feel a little differently now at 40 than I would at 30 with a kid. But, yeah, I would have showed up, for sure. I mean, I think I would have...
you said it. Yeah, I'd probably show up. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have showed up. I mean, I think I would pick Romani. Romani has to know some type of martial art, right?
He'd do a pressure point. He probably hits something right here and you go down like a Bruce Lee. Like, what the fuck just happened?
I think I would pick Romani just because, like, he's got to know something. Like, there's definitely something he knows.
No, but then he would get the two guys that were fighting and have them discuss why they were fighting. Why did you feel that way?
Or he would just settle it with like a lengthy, insightful conversation.
Yeah. Now, okay, I asked this of all my guests when they're on that are in the entertainment business. Has there ever been a time in an audition or on set? More on set, it all happens at everybody audition. That you just went blank? You were like, "Oh shit, what just happened? I don't know my lines."
I honestly can't. Like, it's definitely happened in auditions for sure. several times, and the fear that washes over your face is like a, I don't know what the fuck I'm about to say. On set, I can't say it's happened when I went blank, but there's just been a few times where like some scenes, some pieces of dialogue, just for me, my brain cannot compute. It's almost like trying to download like an app that like, no, we're iOS only. I can't download that app. Like there's some bits of dialogue I just could not retain. I had a whole lot of trouble with, playing a lawyer on Power, and Courtney Kent writes legal stuff really well and also has, real professionals there making sure that all the language is correct. It wasn't my first day on set with Power, my first big courtroom scene where I was trying to get Tommy, Joe Shakura's character, off. I mean, I had a chunk of dialogue where it's like prosecutorial malfeasance and all the like words I don't know. I am not college educated. And Leela, who played Angela, came over to me because she was in the scene as well as the prosecutor, and just said, "Listen, you're doing really well, but just know whenever you get these scenes, like you have to know this shit so well to perform it. Like just you have to study it 3 times as hard as like any other normal scene you would study." And ever since then, I took it extremely serious. But in the beginning, those scenes are kicking my ass.
I'm glad you said that. I asked that of everybody. That's my biggest fear, is to be on set and just drop it and be like, oh shit. Which like it's happened in auditions. Auditions are that's the worst. Cause you feel like they're looking at you going, okay, thanks. Just scratching you off.
There's been times where I've like excused myself and been like, I'm just gonna go. I don't know. I'm tapping out. I'm just gonna go. I'm not getting this. I don't know the dialogue. I'm out. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I apologized one audition for a pilot. I literally just went, I'm sorry I wasted your time.
So sorry.
And it seemed like they were excited when I walked in the room. Hey! I was like, okay, they could be faking it. I don't know. And I just remember I was just not having it. It just wasn't happening. I was just like, okay, I'm really sorry about this. I wave goodbye. Nice meeting you guys. I'll never see you again.
Good luck with this project. That's always my famous saying when I know I did terribly at the end of when it's like, thanks for seeing me, guys. Good luck with this. That's me saying like, I know I just sucked, and I don't really wish you luck actually, but I kind of do.
Who's one guy, actor or director or both, that you haven't worked with yet that would be your dream, like you want to work with?
So many. I was fortunate enough to carve out a big chunk of this list in one movie. I was cast in like a small but really cool supporting part of a movie that Romani Malco and Michael Ealy, randomly enough, were also in. Yeah. Called Las Vegas, which essentially is like a senior citizens hangover type comedy. And it was De Niro, it was Morgan Freeman, it was Kevin Kline, Michael Douglas. So that was incredible. I can tell you the guy I always wish I worked with, and unfortunately he's no longer with us, but my favorite actor of all time, and I don't really think it's close at this point for me, is James Gandolfini. He, to me, was...
I can see that, being Italian.
Yeah, just I don't know. That guy made it look so easy, and it never looked like he was acting, and I don't know, he just like sucked you in. So that was someone I would have said. But man, there's so many, honestly. I'm still... The whole reason why I got into acting in this business in general is because I was just, as a kid, the biggest fan of television and movies. And to this day, I still am. So there's a lot of people I'm a fan of. I'm a little reluctant to say, because if I ever do get to work with them, Gary's going to be over here like, oh, he's freaking out on set with that person.
No.
He always wanted to work with them.
Jerry, I said my goal of this podcast is in 5 years to have people going, you got to go on Gary's podcast. Whoever you say, that shit happens. So everybody's giving different people. And it's to me, it's interesting the people that they're choosing. You know, like Joseph Sikora said, Michael Shannon. I would have never guessed that. I was like, Michael Shannon?
You know what? I'll give you someone who... And he worked with Gandolfini, and he's actually in a Spike Lee movie right now. An actor I have always just worshipped. I think this dude is unbelievable. Delroy Lindo. Oh, Delroy Lindo is pound for pound, I mean, that dude is never turned in like an amp performer. He just always steals everything. I watch everything he's in. I would be quietly, like, throughout that whole Las Vegas movie, my goal was, like, don't get fired and, like, don't just nerd out with these guys. Like, just play it cool. So I kind of just sat in the corner and didn't say much, not because I was being a dick. I was obviously very intimidated, but it's almost like they know that. They've been doing this so long. Like, they kind of brought me in a little bit and broke the ice so I don't feel like, oh my God, there's Michael Douglas, there's Morgan Freeman. Of course, I know we keep talking about him, but in true Romani fashion, like, I'm over here trying to play cool, not nerd out, and, like, Romani's, like, boys with all of them. Like, they have inside jokes. They got all sorts of things. I'm, like, on the outside trying to play it cool, and Romani's, like, ingratiated himself to everybody. But I put Delroy Lindo. I think Jennifer Lawrence is awesome. I'd love to work with Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, that's enough. That's enough, Jerry.
Is that enough?
Did you now when you get on that
Kerry
movie?
Washington, always Kerry Washington for me is just like.
Oh, I got to work with her.
The best actor. You did? She's amazing. I mean, she's one of the best actors out there.
Yeah, I got to work with that Little Man. Yep, she was cool. She was cool. She's funny because she said in the same year she was in an Oscar-nominated film, The King of Scotland. Yeah. And she got an Izzy or Razzie or whatever they call it for the worst film.
For what?
Was Little Man. Sorry. I didn't think it was that bad. Yeah, the Wayans always get a bad rep. If they do any kind of cheesy, goofy movie, they always get the. But I go, that was the goal of the movie. The movie was supposed to be like goofy, funny, cheesy. That was the goal of it.
Nah, those dudes are always taking chances.
Yeah, I know. I was like this. They always get like, I don't know. They always get like, I don't know, beat up in the press a little bit. So are you going to go with Delroy Lindo?
I'm going to go Delroy Lindo, Kerry Washington, Jennifer Lawrence, James Gandolfini posthumously. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, if I really sat down and think about it, there's just so mad. I mean, Michael Shannon's a great pull by Joe. Michael Shannon's
right.
Mark Ruffalo's always been my dude. Love Mark Ruffalo from a movie You Can Count on Me. And then there's just like legends, of course, that have been doing it. Like there's just legends that you have respected and watched. You grew up with them. You watched their work. Like of course, like I named a few of them, but it's kind of obvious, but I could name. Entourage definitely got a few out there that also was like cool cameos that I got to see and work with people that, checked off a lot of the boxes for me.
When you're working with De Niro, did you break the ice or did he break the ice?
He sort of broke the ice, because in the movie too, he kind of he punches me and like knocks me out, which is also great for me. And he was really quiet and like professional and like worked hard and like, but like in like even like in one scene like where he knocks me out and I'm like taking this fall. And then, like, we're about to, like, shoot, and the director's about to call action. He's like, no, wait. Jerry, tie your shoes before. Yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. The Niro's told me to tie my shoes. I'm like, lacing them up tight. I'm like, all right, shoes tied. All right. Then I come charging out, and he drops me. At the end of, like, my second day, just, like, they call rap, and, like, he's like, go work today. And, like, he, like, gave me a hug. And then one day in the elevator, we were going up to our rooms, and he's like, so you're a Brooklyn guy, right? And then we started talking about Brooklyn a little bit, and just a nice guy. It was just a great experience.
Have you ever worked with Chaz Palminteri?
I have not, but I've met him a bunch of times. I actually got to meet him. I went to the Broadway show Bronx Tale, and he was still at the show. That play's been running forever. I got to meet him afterward, and he knows my buddy Dom Lombardozzi, who you should also have on your podcast, my man. Really good, great actor, one of my dear friends. But yeah, I met Chaz. Chaz is awesome.
He had a great De Niro story. We were shooting Little Man, and I got to get the Cliff Notes version, but he went through the ringer to get that to turn a Bronx Tale from a play to a movie, and for him to be a part of it. Like he was like, no, I need to write it and I need to play Sonny, and people were just like, no, and he was getting in the millions. He was walking away from millions of dollars to make that, and then De Niro came and saw the play, and he goes, it was on a handshake. Like De Niro goes, I'm going to make this movie. I want you to, and he goes, well, I got to tell you, I gotta write it and I gotta be in it. And De Niro goes, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's your film. and just like boom. But here's what's funny.
Incredible.
We're driving around Vancouver shooting Little Man. I'm in the van with Chaz, and he literally looks around and goes, "There's not a lot of black broads in Vancouver, is there?" And I went, "Holy shit, you were the kid. You're the kid of the Bronx Tale. You wrote that about you." And he goes,
Kalojiro. He's Kalojiro.
"Yeah." He goes, "I hang out with Bob, of course." I was like, he was kidding, but I was just like, "I hang out with Bob." And I was thinking, "Who's Bob?" He was like, "De Niro." I go,
Bobby
"Oh,
D.
my
Robert
fault.
De Niro. Yeah.
My fault. I'm not in like that." I call him Robert De Niro. But yeah, he gave a great long. I'd have to tell you off the air, but it was just, he had me and two of the weigh-ins. I don't know if it was Keenan or Marlon or Keenan and Sean, one of the two. He had us just enthralled for 45 minutes in the makeup trailer, telling us how A Bronx Tale came to be. I mean, just mouths open, like.
He's a great storyteller. I mean, it wasn't a play. It was a one-man show.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, one-man show.
No, I'm just saying like that. Like, I don't know. Like, even the thought of doing a one-man show, like, how do you even do that? I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm lucky I can play one part.
And it turned that into such a great movie. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the play's been running. Jeez, I don't know how many years at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he just went in about, he was living in a rundown apartment with his wife and his daughter, and they were struggling, and he's getting offered millions of dollars from different studios, but they just want to pay him and then be gone. And he's like, "No, I got to be a part of this."
Yeah.
And was walking away.
I think Stallone's story with Rocky is very similar. I think he could have sold that script for a lot of money, and he was the last person, I think, on their minds to cast as Rocky Balboa. But he just stuck to it, and eventually, and the rest is history.
Well, that lets you know there's levels of this, Jerry, because we were talking about getting a pilot and a movie offer at the same time. And these guys are talking about walking away from millions of dollars and iconic roles. We're like this. I don't know. Do I want to do this CBS pilot where I'm the fourth lead?
Hey, how'd you know?
Or do I want to do the movie Little? This is tough. Anyways, listen, man, I don't want to keep you all day. I know you're a busy guy. You got to get back to your son and your Browns fan. Wife Bree, but hey man, I'm happy for all your success. Thanks for taking time out to come on the podcast, and I'll probably see you in Ohio, since it seems like you're moving in that direction.
I'll see you in Ohio. I'll see you on the West Coast, hopefully. And listen, man, keep doing your thing. I think a lot of people are going to be coming on this podcast, and it was nice to revisit the whole Think Like a Man part of history, because that's a very, very special place in my heart. So
yeah, we gotta get a dinner together.
We all gotta, whenever we're all allowed to congregate again, we all gotta go and break bread and have a drink and just laugh and reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, man. Well, right. Jerry, man, I love you, man. You take care, and I'll see you when I see you.
All right, Gary, take care,
all right,
bro.
brother. Appreciate it.